For Asado, that's going to be easier said than done, though. A second is the gap now.
Yes, and for Asato, the fastest man out there last time around at 1:44.514, so half a second loss by Firdaus and Mie last time around. The gap, as you say, over a second. In fact, it's gone up further through the end of that first sector. Hongo recovering quite nicely onto the tail of Firdaus and Mie, so we could have a three-rider battle for third position, but at the moment the focus on top spot, because Furusato has continued to gain on this lap. It was 4/10 at the start of lap 4. The gap between the top two is now just 2/10.
Yeah, Hongo's been fast all the way through this weekend. Obviously a front row starter for the opening two races of the weekend, 6th on the grid for this one, and he was able to keep himself in the leading battle in race 1 before that crash, so hopefully he's able to get himself into this podium scrap, see if he's able to come away with something from this race.
So as we stand, 4 laps heading towards the completion of the 4th of 12 laps, so heading towards a third race distance already, such as the sprint, of course, with 4 of the laps removed as a result of scheduling conflicts, basically. Daniel Sharil, the race leader, and Furusato, who has led from lap 3 onwards in the 2 previous races this weekend, might be able to get through on lap 4, not quite. Just about holding the line, Daniel Sharil, so at very least, he's made Furusato wait longer to hit the front this time around.
Yeah, certainly, and
how many riders are in the group, which is usually the indication that the riders want to know. Furusato then knows he's got plenty in hand, 1.3 seconds over Firdaus behind. So it is all about the top 2 as things stand. Furusato, a couple of tenths of a second faster than Sharil last time around, as I said. Got the gap down from 4/10 to 2/10. It's a lot less than that now, and I think he'll be eyeing up a move as early as turn 10 here, ducking out of the slipstream. The battle for the race lead as they head in towards turn 10. This is the fight for third position. Firdaus.
Big move for Sharil. We'll see what he can do out in front. Like you said, though, Alex, Furusato, once he gets the front, wants to stay there, so we'll see if he immediately tries to attack back.
New personal best laps last time around from Fadila and Pratama, so they are going with the Indonesian in 6th position, and just a second covering 6th to 8th as they try and bridge the gap to the 3 riders in the fight for 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's now down to 1.5 seconds between Firdaus in P5 and Dandy in P6. It's going to turn in
the ever-tightening 16 as well, but certainly it is a case of having to make the move nice and early to give yourself that chance. 2.5 laps to go, and we've seen Furusato keep a cool head through the course of the racing so far this weekend. We'll see if he's able to do the same in the last 2.5 laps, or if he attacks straight down into turn 10. He's gone through.
Furusato, Sharil up front. Quick word for Veda Pratama, just 12 years of age, the Indonesian youngster, fastest man out there last time around, the new fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:44.244. Dandy's got the gap down to Hongo, only 4/10 of a second behind as well. Lap 11 of 12, 2 to go. 1/10 of a second in it between Furusato and Sharil. Sharil this time goes to the outside. Furusato sweeps across, has comfortably got enough on the brakes into turn 1. Here's the fight behind Mie. Hongo on the 17, the yellow helmet. Firdaus, the green helmet, the number 10. Pratama, the number 25. Dandy, the number 11. And Aditama is right there. And there's Fadila at the back of that group, having just set a new personal best lap last time around, a 1:44.359, to actually close in half a second on the riders around him. So we've got a real group from 3rd position all the way down to 9th. Incredible stuff. Best race of the weekend so far.
Yeah, 2 laps to go, and you might as well be picking the lottery numbers to see who's going to finish on the podium there. But
Firdaus, Dandy, Pratama, Aditama and Fadila, with Wakamatsu rounding out your top 10 for the record in a very separate group, 6.5 seconds further back. As for the leaders, Furusato, defending position. He hasn't been allowing Sharil to make those moves over the last lap or so.
Yeah, 1 lap to go when they come across the line, so Sharil's going to have probably 3 more opportunities to try and make a move. We'll see if he makes the move before we get to turn 10. Turn 10 has been the favourite overtaking opportunity for everyone during the course of the weekend so far, so certainly for the number 21 and Daniel Sharil, probably best to keep your powder dry until turn 10.
Daniel Sharil then holding station behind Furusato
for the season.
Heads off to the Moto3 World Championship next season, does Taiyo Furusato, and he does so unbeaten in 2021. He'll have his work cut out continuing that run next season, I can tell you that. But Furusato certainly leaves the Asia Talent Cup with his head held high. Yeah, Furusato did a really good job in Europe as well this season, racing in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. He won in his debut in Mugello. He was in the lead in Sachsenring before a crash. He had another podium. He had good performances all the way through that season. So he's a known quantity in Europe. He knows a lot of the tracks. And we've also seen a rider come from the Red Bull Rookies Cup fairly recently and do a good job in the Moto3 World Championship. So he's certainly going to feel that he's got a chance of being able to hit the ground running. Third consecutive third place for Gun Mie. All of the races this weekend he has finished in P3, but in that one he really had his work cut out because he had to defend against the attacks of Herjan Firdaus, and it looked like he was willing to throw everything at that to get an Indonesian on the podium today. Yeah, very different battle
battle there for Gunmia today compared to what we've seen in the previous 2 days. And instead of being just dropping off that pace in the closing stages, not quite able to match Shireel and Furusato, this one was all about trying to make sure you could scrap it out, because we saw Hongo try and attack him Firdaus in those final couple of corners as well, and ultimately Gunmia was able to hold them at bay, hold them off for that podium spot.
In the end, the 2 retirements in the early stages of that race were the only retirements. From there on in, it was a clean one.
Yeah, it was a really good, clean battle between all those riders, and we saw them come close to a few instants at different times during the race. But what was really impressive was riders being able to come back to those groups as well. We saw Dandy and Fadila and Pratama really strong in the middle section of this race to bring themselves onto that podium battle, and that's why we ended up with 7 riders trying to scrap it out for that last step in the podium.
Age Talent Cup settled as far as the title itself was concerned here yesterday in favour of Furusato, and he will end the season 56 points ahead of Daniel Shireel, 70 points ahead of Gunmie, and that is your top 3 in the championship standings. But strong performances from some of our Indonesian riders here today. Strong performance for